We are quickly approaching the 20-year anniversary of the MCU. Sure, we're only currently in the year 2024, but when looking at the slate of films coming out and the end of the multiverse saga, it's not hard to fathom that Kevin Feige and the studio could be planning something relatively huge to celebrate this milestone. That is exactly what is going to happen. Now, we know the big news that came out in the past couple of weeks with Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU, but this time not as Tony Stark, but as Victor Von Doom. That's right, he will be portraying Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, which, incidentally, will be directed by the Russo brothers, who happen to direct the two biggest Avenger movies in the past. You know, I mean, for some reason, they are kind of the Marvel darlings in the eyes of the MCU fans. But hey, they made a few great and financially successful films. But let's get back on point here, okay? Because there is some big things coming for Marvel right now, and I don't think people quite understand what is going to shake out over the next 4 years leading up to the 20th anniversary of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm ready.
We do know that Avengers Doomsday is going to be the first full outing for Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, and we do know that Avengers Secret Wars comes out in 2027. So keep that in mind, because just like Infinity War was originally going to be 2 movies, Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, I'm being told that something similar is happening with Secret Wars. It is true that the Russos' announcement was just for 2 Avenger movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, but there may actually be more to it than meets the eye. Look, we have just under 4 years until the big 20th anniversary of the MCU, and with Feige and team wanting to give it a big shebang to really showcase the past, present, while establishing a new future, Kevin is absolutely going to want to use the best guns he has in his arsenal to make this happen.
Assemble.
We know that Secret Wars is going to have upwards of 50 to 60 heroes past, present, and future, spanning from the 1990s of characters in films and TV, and even characters in future films and TV that we have no idea about. But the way we get there is what is most interesting. Between now and then, we're going to see more and more of a connection to this grander vision. Finally, as the culmination of 20 years of Marvel Studios storytelling comes to a head into a trilogy, that is right, a trilogy, not just 2 films, not just Doomsday and Secret Wars, but a trilogy of Avenger films starting with Avengers Doomsday. Look, I told you, there is more to it than meets the eye. Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars was just the little taste that they wanted to tell everybody. They only wanted to give you a taste up to 2027. If you notice, nothing has been revealed past 2027 to this point in time. Now, over the next 4 years, we are going to hear crazy rumors that may or may not be true. Once again, things like Tobey Maguire returning as Spider-Man or Hugh Jackman donning the claws again will undoubtedly grace your screens. Both not just likely, but absolutely the plan, as long as finalized scripts include them and deals can be worked out. While I myself am not so keen on the idea of RDJ as Doctor Doom, the plan for him is to be completely menacing and unlike any villain we have ever seen in the MCU before. You see, seeing Tony Stark's face will be off-putting at first, but the pure evil that Victor Von Doom will display will shake everyone to their core when it comes to a Marvel film. And that's the plan. That way, they have to gather all of these heroes to come together to defeat a huge evil. And if they can pull that off, well, maybe they'll be able to do something quite special. Now, 2 more interesting points that I want to leave you with. I mentioned that Secret Wars will be split into 2 films. The second film will not be called Part 2. Now, if we've learned anything with Marvel, they don't like to do Part 1 and Part 2. That's kind of lame anyways, right? The idea is to call the third Avengers film in this trilogy Avengers Forever. Similar to the 98-99 comic run where a bunch of heroes from the past, present, and future came together. Think about that. Finally, the last thought, Avengers Forever will be released in May of 2028. That is 20 years after Iron Man came out. And it will mark the final appearance of Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU. And because of this, you know, the story, the multiverse idea, the multiversal saga, we're going to see variants of all sorts. We're going to see variants of all sorts. We will be seeing Tony Stark one final time. It's like poetry.